Now.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Dogs and Gooses. What is this, Williams? Is this episode 6?
7.
7. Holy cow. We have made it to the big times.
We're moving right along.
Joining us today, we have my sister, Shay, and as always, my co-host, the dirty dog, Brandon Williams. So, today we've got a special treat for you. It is New Year's Day.
Oh my goodness.
And it's been a while, honestly.
But we blamed it on the holidays.
Yes. So I'm going to say you better have been eating and drinking between.
Yeah, because
I know you were holding your breath and all that stuff. You would have died, and you would have missed out on some really good holiday food. I don't know about you guys, but we had some really good stuff at Christmas and my parents.
You best believe.
Yeah. So, Shay, welcome to the podcast.
I've never been on a podcast before.
Well, now you have been.
Woo! Yeah.
So, today, for our news segment, instead of doing a news segment, we're actually going to get some random facts from Shay, because she told us them, and they were pretty interesting. Also, AJ broke his finger. That's our news segment. Now to you, Shay, with facts.
The first fact is a giraffe. Okay, giraffes are 30 times more likely to get struck by lightning than human beings.
Well,
I'd hate to be a giraffe.
Yeah.
You know what
me
I'm saying?
too.
I just feel bad for them.
Keep a giraffe in every city, and that should decrease everyone else's chances.
They should just start doing that.
Let's start an
A
initiative.
campaign, giraffe in every city. Stop getting struck by lightning.
I feel like you could start this.
Biological lightning rods.
The next fact is a cloud weighs around 1 million tons.
Around 1 million tons.
Yes.
I could lift that.
Is that your average cloud, or is
I
there a
don't know.
certain size?
You know,
of cloud
when
it
I told Adrian this fact, he didn't believe me, so we looked it up, and it's because they're mostly made of mist and water. But I don't know
Wait,
if
you
that's
could
the
probably lift that
average
too,
one.
right?
I could lift a cloud.
Oh, easy.
Yes.
All the time.
And then the third fact is a chicken somewhere. I don't know his name. Actually, no, I think it says his name. I'll have to look.
Oh.
It says that he lived 18 months with his head cut off.
Oh, I know
I
about
heard
that.
about that one, yeah.
And I think they hold a festival in Nevada or something. I think it was in
Really?
Nevada.
Hold up, festival?
Maybe we should go.
Like every year, I think they hold a little parade. I think.
We're
I don't
gonna
know
start a
if that's
fundraiser
across
off of this
Nevada.
episode for us to go to that
It doesn't say his name, unfortunately.
It doesn't say his
but-
name.
I thought it was like something witty.
I thought it
was
like
the
Jerry
headless
or
chicken.
something.
Wait, what are we
but
gonna name him? We could come up with a
let's
better
see.
name.
Let's name him Headless Jim.
Headless Jim.
18 months of his life, he's headless.
How long did he live before that, though? Does he want to be defined by that
He is
one fact
defined
about
by
him?
it. It sets him apart from all other chickens.
I mean, you're right. I haven't heard of a lot of other chickens, but Headless Jim I've heard of.
Oh, did you hear that? Oh, I thought you were saying like you've heard the name before.
Well, I heard it now.
from you. Everyone, that is my sister, Shay. Welcome to the show, Shay. Is that all of your facts for now?
Yep, that's all the facts.
That is perfect. Okay, we will get on to our show. Not a super surprise on the topic this week, to be honest. It is New Year's Day. And so
Ooh.
we are going to talk about 2023 in review.
Oh
Woo!
man,
Yeah, yeah.
it has been a year.
Else I'll sound out of police. Anyway.
Every-
Wait, Shay, one more time. I'm sorry. We didn't do this quite right. I'm going to say, we're going to send it over to Shay, and I need you to say, back to you, Nate, at the end. We're going to go to Shay, who's in the field talking about chickens and stuff.
Yep, and that's the story of Headless Jim. Back to you, Nate.
Thanks, Shay. Doing excellent work over there on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that crazy about the chickens, right, Williams?
Oh, you best believe.
Okay. No, sorry. Now we're back on topic. I just wanted to be on the news for a second.
Yes, very official.
So,
We're going to be an anchor.
well, you're darn right. Okay. This year in review. I think that we're going to take turns talking about each other's years.
Oh, each other's years?
Yeah.
Each other's.
Yeah, because I feel like that'll make it interesting to summarize other people's years. What do you guys think?
Well, who's am I summarizing? Wait, who's because I don't think Shay's going to be able to cover, or would she be able to cover yours accurately?
Well,
But then I can't cover
well,
hers
you
accurately.
can help. That's
This
the
is
thing.
hard.
You can help.
Oh, so
So-
the other two kind of pitch in and kind of.
Yeah, everybody's kind of pitching in.
Okay.
But we're going to start by talking about Shay's year.
I
Because
honestly.
the audience here doesn't really know Shay. Go ahead, Shay.
No, nothing. You continue.
You said I honestly.
Well,
and then you
I
didn't
don't know
continue.
how well I know the timeline of your guys' year.
See,
Oh.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
like-
part of the problem.
You're
Maybe I'm
sounding
too
like-
self.
I barely know my timeline.
You're sounding like a great sister right now.
Ah.
AJ, you can stay in here. You're our producer guy. You're our snurdly.
Are you gonna cut that out?
Nope.
That takes effort, Shay.
Also, guys, AJ's here, but he didn't want to be on the podcast today. So,
you
welcome,
just
AJ.
run around doing whatever AJ does.
Yeah, like AJ do. So, should we start with Shay? Talk about her rear. Oh, she also just got saved by AJ because we were about to guilt trip her about how she didn't know enough about our year.
We can still guilt trip
Guess he
her.
didn't save me, did he?
No, not quite. He saved you, but I unsaved you.
Didn't really do a good job.
You're welcome. Okay, so Williams, I think for Shay, she did a couple interesting things. I think the most notable is she got married.
Was that this?
That was
That
this
was
year.
this year. Oh my goodness.
That was pretty recent.
That was March.
March. Holy cow.
Yep.
My goodness. I thought I could have swore it was last year.
Flies by.
Yep.
When you're having fun, you know. I
Yeah.
just,
Yep. So she had her birthday in February. She
Yeah.
turned what? 22.
23.
23.
Mhm.
That's
I
something.
knew that because you're 2 years younger than me, but I wanted to pretend.
Oh,
You're
okay.
welcome. So Shay turned 23 this last year. She got married to an absolute stud of a man.
Oh my goodness.
Adrian.
Adrian Plahio.
I'm sure the women
Yep.
cried.
They did.
Him being
They
taken
did.
away from the
They
dating
did.
pool.
It was the
They
great
really-
day of remorse, actually. I don't know if you heard about it, but it was pretty big.
What's the opposite of a holiday? Like where you get really sad.
Well, for Shay, it's still a holiday.
A day of remembrance.
Yeah.
It's maybe sad for everyone else except for me.
Yeah, it's a day of celebration
It's a
for Shay
happy
because
day for
she
me.
won the lottery.
For
Yeah.
Adrian, it's undecided. He doesn't
Oh,
know if he's happy.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Well,
Adrian
I'm
does
just
say
gonna
he's
say,
happy.
Adrian seems happy. Hopefully Shay can actually know what his year was about, but you know.
Yeah, pretty significant.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah, that was huge.
So that was a significant moment. You also
Did you start your dental hygienist stuff this year?
Not
Did she-
hygiene. I
she's
did
a
finish
dental
my
assistant.
assisting.
Dental assistant.
did you
That's
start
my
it
bad.
this year? Or did you just finish?
I started last year, so like the end of last year, of 2020.
So
Two.
basically this year.
Basically,
But you graduated from dental assistant school in that timeline.
yeah, last August.
What is the most surprising thing you learned from dental assistant school?
This
Hmm.
year.
That's a good question. Something I think about a lot this year is the fact that kids aren't born with, how do I describe this? The bacteria to get cavities in their mouth, but mostly moms are the ones who introduce them to the bacteria in their mouth.
How so?
So, because like a lot of times the moms are the ones who like give them kisses and
You
just
so
introduce,
gross.
so
introduce
don't
them.
show
Well,
affection to your children.
This is what I've asked. I asked my dentist about this. I'm like, is it inevitable to introduce bacteria, or can you like be so crazy that you can keep it? I think it's pretty much inevitable that they're gonna get bacteria. And
Unless
so most
you
of the
rinse your
time,
mouth with some pretty heavy stuff.
or I don't know where to find that, but we found it.
I bet you could find it. It'd probably just dissolve your mouth. too.
Yeah, probably wreck your teeth.
So wait.
It'd
You're
be
telling
so
me that
clean.
the things that cause cavities, sorry,
Bacteria.
it's bacteria. Well, I mean, not everyone's mouth has bacteria because it's a moist spot, but generally saliva is pretty good at killing it. But as I understand it, I could be wrong. To all you people out there, Shay looks like I'm wrong right now.
I don't know.
Oh,
Is
And
there
here it goes-
good bacteria in our mouths? Or is the good
I would-
bacteria only inside
I
in
think
our
so.
stomachs and stuff? Is
I
that-
think so.
Okay.
Well, because animals have like very bacteria-filled mouths, like they're really bad.
Well,
Yeah.
I know the Komodo dragon doesn't have like a ton of bacteria, and that's what kills his prey.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
But we don't have prey
But
like that.
well, you don't.
Oh.
So, what was I going to say with that? So, does that mean, Shay, that you can't necessarily, like in theory, could a person make it their entire life without gaining that bacteria?
I don't think so. I really think it's like
Because in
Inevitable.
theory,
Like you
If-
eat food that has
as an
bacteria.
Yeah,
adult,
exactly.
is it can come from food as well?
I think so.
Oh.
I think the reason that fact is it's just saying that moms are the ones that usually introduce bacteria to their children. in the mouth.
Blaming the
So-
mothers. I like
Yes.
I'm thinking that this year for you women out there, don't show affection to your children. That should be your New Year's resolution. You can occasionally say, "I'm disappointed in you." My mom said that to me a lot.
And it's helped you grow.
Yeah, exactly. And that will do good. It'll help your kids avoid cavities. That's what I'm learning.
I know your mother, so she's a very nice lady.
Yeah. She
So
is.
you deserve the disappointment.
That's. I mean, I never claimed I didn't. I was a bit of a rambunctious child, even as an adult.
Still, mom's biggest worry.
Well, I
All
take
of her gray
responsibility for
hairs
all of her gray
are
hairs,
you.
except one. One is named Shay.
Oh.
No, I think it's Daniel.
So probably Daniel. That's fair. That's
One
fair.
unclaimed. We're not sure.
That's all of the other kids combined. So Shay, dental hygiene or dental
Assisting.
assisting school, which is cooler than dental hygiene.
What
So
is
you
the
can do
difference
dental hygiene.
between those two?
Until
Is
you
there a difference, or
Yeah,
is it
so
kind of hand in
assisting,
hand?
like there's a lot of things that we can't do as assistants. We're pretty much there just to assist the doctor
Mhm.
or the dentist. Hygiene, they're the ones that are scraping and cleaning your teeth off. So assistants can
I
they
thought
give
they
you
do a little
coronal
cleaning.
polishes. Yeah, they give you the polishes usually.
Okay.
But there are some hygienists that just work alone. So yeah,
Okay.
hygiene have a lot more access to things than we do. There's a lot of things that we can't do legally.
Do you
because
want to go
some of them-
towards
That's the goal.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay,
So, pretty cool.
I like
hygiene's
it.
cool.
next year?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
2020.
2024.
2024,
Come on.
maybe.
Yeah.
She's actually going to move down by us in Provo area.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Exciting things to look forward to.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Perhaps some more
Hygiene.
podcasts, Shay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You could become a regular
Shay's
guest.
2024 regular guest.
I
Dogs
like
and
it.
gooses.
Dogs, gooses, and shays.
Yeah.
why do I have to be? Why can't I be an animal too?
Well, that's
Anyway, on to our next topic. So, Shay,
Yes.
did we miss anything?
Wait a minute.
So we've talked.
You had the big concert with Taylor
Ooh,
Swift.
she
and
did
you were
go to
the
so
Taylor
Swift
into.
tour.
I
Oh, what's it called, Shay?
The Eras tour.
The Eras tour. Oh,
Yes.
very nice.
Mhm.
Williams was going to go to that too.
You
No,
were?
I
And then
wasn't.
he realized
should've
it
let
wasn't
us
Johnny
know.
Cash.
Oh.
yeah.
No.
Or Willie Nelson. And I was just like, nope. If it's not them, I'm not going.
What? You guys aren't Swifties? Come on.
Do I look like a Swiftie
You
to
do
you?
look like a Swiftie.
He-
That-
for
I'm
those
hurt.
of you at home, he does look like a Swiftie.
He does look
What
like
is-
a
what is
Anyway,
that?
on to our next
I
topic.
feel like that's not accurate.
I also, can I say, I love doing podcasts and being the host because whenever we get to the point where I want the conversation to end, I just say, on to the next topic.
Next topic.
And that means that I can throw out a roast and then we just move forward. So, anyway, on the topic of Williams being a
Unless
Swiftie,
I don't
he
let
is
you.
one. And
Check.
on to the next topic. Shay, what else did we miss? What else did you do that was super exciting this year?
I think you guys honestly got the most of it.
What are you
Finished
talking about?
assisting, got married, went to Eras tour. Those are the highlights of the year.
I feel like those are pretty good, pretty solid
Yeah.
highlights.
Went to Arizona a couple of times. That was
Mhm.
pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. I've heard Arizona's a good place.
Pretty fun.
Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Let's move on to Williams. Let's talk about his year.
Oh boy.
What an
I
exciting
think-
year, Williams.
I don't know if I'm wrong. Did you finish school this year?
I
Last year?
did.
You did.
That's
You
an
did.
awesome
Some
achievement.
of you may not know this, but Williams has what we call a bachelor's degree in philosophy.
I got the whole degree. I'm not majoring in it right now or anything. Bam.
Boom.
Got the
Finished.
degree.
Yeah, only the
So,
bachelor's. So you
how
probably
long
got
did
more
that-
in there.
How long did that take you?
I mean, 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical undergraduate.
Okay.
He got not one, but 2 promotions at his job.
Ooh.
Maybe
Yeah.
even 3.
What's your job
That's
title
crazy.
now?
I am a supervisor.
Yeah.
Well, or I think the official title might even be building operations manager.
He's
Ooh.
he's the building operations manager over the janitors.
Custodians.
Oh, my apologies. I didn't realize.
Repent.
Yeah, my bad. My
There's
bad.
a difference, and it's very important.
So you got 2 promotions at least this year, perhaps 3. You've moved like 4 times. Also, Shay moved this last year
I didn't know.
and changed jobs because he used to work at Pepperidge.
That's true.
That was all this year? Oh, man.
I forgot.
It's been a busy year, I think, for all of us. Even more busy than it's going to sound like when we're talking about it. So, Williams, you got your bachelor's in philosophy.
That I
You
did.
got not 1 but 2 promotions.
I have a question about the promotions, or
Yeah.
actually, no, about the titles. So
Sure.
you don't like it when people call you janitors. Do
No.
janitors not like it when you call them custodians?
I don't care what janitors think.
For those of you janitors, get wrecked.
When you think of a janitor, you think of the lone janitor,
Mm-hmm.
just doing his thing. And typically, I feel like janitor, there to clean. Not to say anything bad about any janitors, might be listening. However, I think that they're less invested. When you think of custodian, think they're the custodian of something, and it's more than just cleaning. It's like taking care of. Like they have a vested interest in it almost. So that's the kind of thing I think is the distinction between the janitor and the custodian.
Mhm.
I care about my building. I'm a custodian.
Yeah.
And that's also the official title.
I'm so
is custodian.
glad that you have a job that you're so passionate about.
Don't even get me started, Shay.
That is a man.
Okay.
Listen, guys, you're hearing a man who's passionate about his job.
I have a favorite cleaner. I do.
Oh, do you?
Oh, what is it?
Well, we don't use. So I used to be a housekeeper at a hospital, which is similar, but there's some differences.
Housekeeping.
I was also custodianing it. It wasn't the official title, but I was being a custodian there.
You didn't even realize
because I
it.
cared.
Yeah, fair.
But my title was housekeeper. I prefer environmental services specialist because that sounds really cool.
That does sound cool.
But my favorite of all the chemicals is called Oxiver TB.
Got it.
Is
So
that available
we
to
are
the
not even
general
being-
public?
Did you write that
You
down?
can. I looked it up online. You can buy it.
Wait, so what's it called?
Oxiver TB, but it's a little bit more potent stuff. I mean, it's not like dangerous.
So
If you drink it, it will kill you.
Yeah, don't drink it.
I have tried.
Oh,
Believe you me.
noted.
So anyway, Williams, what were you saying? I'm sorry.
So anyway, and it was really good because if we ever had like a little bit of a blood spill or something, it's a hospital. You just put a little Oxford TB was really good for taking care of that. And you could watch it like fizz up on stuff and be killing the stuff that you're cleaning up. So it was really cool. I mean, it doesn't smell pleasant or anything. It doesn't. It's not a great cleaner that way, but it just does its job. I think effectively. We're not even sponsored by them, so you're welcome,
Yeah.
Oxford TV. I don't know.
Yeah. Go look it up, folks.
Go
Don't
look it
drink
up and
it.
buy
Once
it.
again, that's our warning.
Not an official sponsor.
Yeah, not an official sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Williams, you got not one.
But I
note,
am
but two
passionate. I get to
promotions.
keep
Oh,
going,
I apologize.
talking about it if you want.
Oh, we can tell.
We could turn this into a
No,
custodial
we'll,
episode.
we'll save that for another episode.
Okay.
Save
Don't
that
you
for
worry.
Benj.
Yeah, Benj would go great on a custodial episode.
Wasn't
More
he
like
a janitor at one
janitorial
point?
episode. He did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's definitely a janitor and not a custodian.
Yeah.
From
So
what
we
I
need
talked
to ask
him.
Benj if he took offense at being called a
I don't think he
custodian.
cares because I don't think he cared about that job that much.
He had no passion in it whatsoever.
Yeah, he didn't. And he used to show up, and they would be like, he'd be like, "What do you want me to do?" And they're like, "I don't know. I'm not even technically your boss, dude. Like, your boss doesn't work until the day shift." And Benj was a night shift guy, so he never spoke to his boss.
Hey,
He just never
That's
ever
kind
talked
of a
to
good
him.
job.
Yeah,
So
and
he just
you just kinda,
did cleaning.
Yeah, that's what he said he did. Is he just went and cleaned the things nobody else did, and then he left when he was bored.
Dang, that's a perfect job to be honest.
I know.
Why'd he leave?
I don't know. Probably because he had to work in the middle of the night.
Yeah, probably.
It was complicated.
Yeah, it was complicated. But Williams, you also started a podcast this year.
Oh my goodness, yes I did.
Woo!
The world's most popular podcast, according to Magazine. So
Not sponsored.
Must have been a word, but it was kind of we couldn't hear it. But
yeah,
it
was
was a word.
I drank a lot of apple cider this morning.
Oh, so that's probably what did it.
yeah, exactly. So anyway,
Magazine.
I think you hit a new benchmax this year. Did you not?
Was that this year?
I think so.
Yeah,
Woo!
but it's probably. I need to go back to. I did stop the gym this year,
You-
which
you
is
did?
good,
New Year's
but on a
resolution.
sad note.
But at the beginning of the year, you did good. It was at the end of the year
Right,
that you struggled.
beginning of the year, I think I'd made a max because I was gaining weight. I now weigh more than what I did, and I'm actually quite proud.
I'm
I
proud of you,
started
Williams.
like I've gained at least 10 pounds because I think I was at 170 start of the year.
Yeah.
And I think right now I'm up to 180. Right
I'm,
around
ver-
there,
I'm very proud of you.
which for me is really good. I was just talking to my grandmother when I was there because I went there for Christmas. My parents are way too far away. We need to move closer if they want me to visit for Christmas.
Hint, hint.
But she was like, Brandon, you're more filled out. You look good. Like,
Grandmas are the best.
no,
Yeah.
honestly, I think like looking at old pictures of me, I was kind of almost scary. It did not. I think maybe it's the gluten-free thing, giving me a little bit more.
Mm.
There's a little bit more of me to love than there was at the
Maybe
beginning
there-
of the year.
A little
There are
more
some
beef.
blessings to
A little bit more beef.
I like it, Williams.
I like it too.
You know, I respect that.
And so I'm sure if I were to go to the gym now, I could even perhaps put up a little bit more.
Yeah, you probably
Awesome.
would. You probably would. You definitely
Year's
have filled
goal.
out since since we met 7 years ago. Um,
I think, yeah, looking back, it was not optimal what I was.
well, that's okay. That's just progress.
Best believe.
So you hit a new benchmark. You had a solid start to the year with the gym. Not the best finish, but a solid start.
Right.
And then
And
you
it
moved
carried
like
a decent
4
ways,
times.
like through the summer.
It did.
It was the end of the
Well,
summer.
I think you probably still maintain a lot of that muscle mass, to be honest.
I don't think I've lost it all, but I think I've
No.
maybe lost a little at least.
I bet it would come back pretty fast, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry too much. And then I think, unless there's anything else, I think the crowning achievement for Williams this year is he grew a beautiful mustache.
Oh,
But he shaved
and
it.
like
then
it. Oh.
shaved his mustache.
spoiler, a lot of you probably don't know. Or some of you probably
Okay, sit down. Everyone here, sit down.
It's too late. They've already
Very
been
good.
shocked.
Yeah, I know, but I'm hoping they're sitting now and not just fainting on the floor.
It's
Get
okay.
up from where you
Take
have
a deep
fallen.
breath.
Yes, and then sit down. If you're driving, park your car in a safe manner. Please. Shalina,
I shaved my mustache.
you are a female,
Mhm.
as I understand it.
Yes.
Those of you in the audience can probably tell that there's one voice here that is significantly higher
and
than the
less
other voices.
masculine.
I don't know. I have a cold. It's kind of making my throat a little deeper.
I was
so
I was
might throw
thinking
somebody
your
off.
voice sounds just like mine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Does that make you feel good to be on a podcast? Like,
They're like, why is Nate
like
talking so
Yeah.
much?
He just keeps talking back and forth to himself.
Row, row, row.
Nate, I don't know what you're talking about with my voice. So, Shay, give us your honest opinion of, first off, what William's mustache used to be.
Yeah, you've seen both
And
sides.
do you feel like this is an upgrade or a downgrade? Be honest.
I wouldn't say
We want
downgrade.
the juicy tea.
For me myself, I like a good stash. I think stashes look nice.
And
But I have-
Take notes.
Adrian, yeah, her husband, beautiful stash.
He has a very nice stash, and he wants to shave it. And I see, Adrian, don't shave the stash.
but we
Keep it.
respect his choices.
So for me myself, I do like some stashes, but I have seen other girls say that they aren't huge fans.
So
But
did you like Williams before with
I
the
like
stash
the
better?
stash. I'm not gonna lie. I think the
You
stash look
prefer
good.
the stash.
Yeah.
So let me say something because my uncle said something very profound. So I shaved it in part. I didn't really shave it for my brother's wedding, but my brother's wedding was the next day, and so there was that. I was like, everyone else is gonna be pretty clean cut and stuff, and I kind of wanted to see what I looked like without the stash because it had been a while,
hmm
and so I shaved the stash. And honestly, in that moment, like after I had shaved, I was like, I'm not sure if I like this. And you know what was really disturbing at first? Feeling the breeze across my upper lip. Honestly, that was a little disturbing.
I don't know what your problem is. I've felt that my whole life.
Right.
It doesn't bother me.
But after a couple days, it just becomes normal again. And I asked my coworkers, the ones that were new and had only known me with the mustache. And at first they were like, "Yeah, I think I prefer the stash." But the second day they were like, "Actually, I think you look just as good without as you did with it." And so I think there's that. And also, I talked to my uncle when I went back for Christmas.
What's your uncle's name?
David.
Good old wise David.
Well,
what a
we
wise
can't
guy.
we can't condone everything he says, but he might have some kernels, nuggets of wisdom.
That's fair.
Any nuggets?
And and he said that in terms of dating wise, not having a mustache is way less polarizing than having a stash. Because if you have a stash, there's a lot more girls who are like, I'm not going to date him because he has a stash, than there are conversely. Because if you don't have a
Or-
stash, there's a very, very, very small group of women who are like, he doesn't have a stash, I won't date him.
That's true.
And so, I'm just, it's a
But-
new year. I'm increasing my
William,
odds.
think of this. If
Maybe
they,
by the end of this year, I won't be single like I ended this past year.
if they can't handle you with a stash, then you're just gonna have to live
But the
your life
stash will
without
grow
a
on them.
stash. maybe.
Then they don't deserve the stash.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. It's complex.
so Shay, you would
problem.
say you prefer mustaches, but you
I
think
like
he
stashes,
looks
but
good.
But
Fine
also,
without.
she did marry a
That's
guy
right.
with a stash.
That's true.
Pretty
But when
awesome.
I knew him, he didn't ever have a mustache. So
Oh, that's
I-
true.
Ooh, that's
Oh.
true. I will say though,
But it's grown on you.
I will say though, Williams,
no,
so
I've always
far,
liked it.
of the two people we've had rate your stash on this program, both said it was pristine.
It's true.
And I
I'll be
appreciate
honest,
that.
I don't want to play catch with you as much as I used to.
Some of the fatherly, I will say, I feel like a tyke in comparison. You know, I remember the mustache exuded this mature aura.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
I just
True.
I've lost some of that.
Yeah, that's it. No more
I seem
fatherly
like a
advice from
kid.
you, Williams. You little guy, you a rascal. Is that everything, Williams? Oh, you got certified to become a substitute
Oh, yeah,
teacher.
that
That's
was this
exciting.
year.
You've really enjoyed that, haven't you?
I've only done it once, but I do plan on doing a lot more this coming year.
Uh huh.
No, I really enjoyed it. It was a blast.
What grade did you sub?
So I was in elementary school and I taught art. So I covered kindergarten,
that's
first
so
grade,
fun.
second grade, third and fifth. And
Not fourth.
I had only because on the substitute web page or whatever, the app, it only had a position for an hour. And then another sub, I guess, was going to take the rest of the day.
Uh huh.
So it's like, okay, that's kind of strange. I go in, and I think they accidentally messed it up in the office a little bit, and they canceled the other sub.
Yeah.
And so I ended up I only anticipated like
one.
slow start to the subbing thing, do an hour. Cool. I taught the whole day, this whole spectrum of grades,
Mm-hmm.
And guess which one was best behaved?
Which one? Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. And those kids are the sweetest too. They're so cute when they're little, and they're just in their little voices.
Oh.
And the kindergarten teacher comes up to me right before class, and she's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, Mr. Williams. And she's like, "Okay, class, say hi to Mr. Williams." And all like 20 of them or whatever come in. They're like, "Hi, Mr. Williams,"
Aw,
individually
that's so
to me.
cute.
And they're like, and inevitably in every one of the classes, there's a kid who's like, "I have a cousin named William." I'm like, awesome, small world,
No relation.
And the kindergartners is so sweet because I just sit down and color with them, on my own coloring page and talk to them. They're like, "Yeah, we got rid of my dog, and they're just telling me about life. I'm like, "Yeah, my family has a dog too."
So many connections.
Still got it though.
Oh.
We haven't got rid of mine though.
We're just making
Yeah.
conversation.
Yep.
But that was a lot of fun. Yeah, that was a highlight of this year.
That sounds like a pretty solid highlight.
It was actually kind of harder to get. I mean, it's
get
not difficult,
certified,
but
yeah.
it is a process.
I was
That's fair.
wondering how hard it would be.
You could do it, but it's just a process.
Yeah, Shay. It's a process. So, Williams, is that everything? Is there anything you want to add in? Any particular accomplishments or things?
I don't think that are directly related to me. Like, there's exciting stuff that's going on around me.
Uh-huh.
Like, my brother got married.
Oh, yeah. Good old Trevor.
Craig
Shout
got
out to
married
Trevor.
this year.
Craig got married as well.
Trevor and Craig. Yeah,
I know.
not together.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
two separate.
Not to each other.
Different days, different people. Just to clarify. Also, thanks a lot, guys. We're just over here waiting.
Yeah.
Don't wait for us.
Well, they obviously didn't.
I can tell.
They didn't care.
What was I going to say
Yeah.
though? So with that, Williams, there's a lot of exciting stuff that's gone on. Do you have a favorite kind of achievement, moment, time?
Let me think. Because there were some cooler things that happened this year. My family came up to my grandparents, and us kids met them down there. So we were able to get the family. It's getting harder and harder for us to get the family together.
Mhm.
So I loved us all being together. We're a really fun group. Why are you laughing, Starks?
I just remembered your trip to I don't remember if it was North Dakota or South Dakota, and you were telling me about all these exciting things you saw, and we started talking about this exciting part, and you said, what's the best is the Badlands.
Oh,
And I was like, Williams, I don't know if you know what the
That wasn't
definition
this year,
of
though.
the Badlands is. Was that
Yeah.
the year before?
I think that was the year before.
Oh,
Because that
either
was
way.
my parents were living in North Dakota. I mean, the Badlands kind of go across both North and South, if I remember correctly. And they're a very cool geographic feature. They are beautiful.
Guys,
And I get a lot of sass from Starks because people were asking, "What do you do in North Dakota?" There are things to do in North Dakota. Not a lot of people know about them. So you just ask me, and I'll tell you some of the things I discovered that you can do out there. Oh, on this podcast, we need to mention, in case it ever gets big, in case anyone is ever in North Dakota, there's this place. Look it up. It's called the Enchanted Highway. The world's, or I think at least the country, I think it's the world's largest scrap metal sculptures. down this little
Oh.
stretch of highway. It's really neat, really cool story. Briefly, this guy, he saw that his town was dying, his hometown. Very small. I think it's Regent, North Dakota. Very neat place, but also very small and tiny. And it's kind of dying. And so he decided that he would create all these features along this little stretch of land that led from the main stretch down to his little town of Regent. And so this is cool attraction that you can see. Go there, support him, support his town.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's a little hotel there that he converted, from what building it was into a hotel. It's really
I like
That's
it.
Cool.
I will. So the point of the Badlands thing is
neat.
because Williams was talking about places he liked to visit and that he would recommend.
Badlands are beautiful.
And
Theodore
I
Roosevelt
don't know if you
National
guys
Park.
know what
Fantastic.
Badlands are, but as I understand it, Badlands is basically wasteland. Like there's nothing there as the reference.
No, there's stuff. It's an actual feature. There's like these. They almost look like hills, but it's everything else
Oh.
around the hills eroded.
So it's like kind of like empty hills, is what you're saying.
Goodness.
Got it. It sounds very exciting,
Yeah, they're beautiful. Don't let Starks his sass get to you. Okay.
I'm still not convinced. So, from the sounds of it, highlight of your year was spending time with your family.
Yeah, and we also spent Thanksgiving together. And Trevor brought his fiance over at that time. Now his wife.
Yeah.
It was good to get to know her, and there's been a lot of exciting things where our family has come together. So I'm
Good.
Awesome.
really excited. Those are the highlights of this year.
Well,
That's the best.
I'd say solid year for you, Williams. Okay. I'm going to turn the time over to Williams and Shay. They can talk about my year.
I happen to know that you moved around a bit this year too.
I did.
Moved to Vineyard.
Yep.
Was that the only move you made?
No,
we moved.
we started in Cox Apartments, and then we moved to another apartment together, and then he went to Vineyard. So that was 2 moves.
Yeah, well, and then one other apartment in between, the little one.
Little one.
For me, not for you.
Oh,
You had
That's
another
right. Yeah, yeah,
apartment?
yeah,
Did
yeah.
I ever go to it? I don't think I
Briefly.
Did I?
Yeah, well, that was the one,
Oh.
the other one that I was going to live in with Charity.
Oh, that one.
Oh.
Okay.
I guess I shouldn't mention too many names. Anyway,
yep. Always give.
it's important.
But so that was kind of exciting. You did some moves.
Yep.
And this year you also started your business this year. I think
Oh,
that
you
was
did.
one of the bigger things this year.
Probably.
How's
yeah.
your business been going?
It's going pretty good. It's we're still growing, for sure. But honestly, right now I'm really optimistic. It looks like there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And so
Plug for
right
Stark's
now-
Home Improvement.
Yeah, right now I'm just trying to get faster.
Is it sponsored?
Of course.
Well, I mean, I think a sponsor technically has to give us something monetary value.
Well, I'll give myself something.
You gave your
monetary
time.
voice.
Yeah,
Time
exactly.
is money.
My voice, which is very valuable these days as well. So yeah, it's going really well. I'm honestly really excited about the next year and what that's going to bring with that. But yeah, I started doing bigger jobs.
Did you start halfway through the year? It was when
Yeah,
you
it
moved
was
to
probably
Vineyard,
roughly
right?
halfway. Yeah, so it's probably about 7 months. Well, I started a few months before that, 2 or 3 months before that.
You've had a couple of employees through it.
No, I haven't actually
Oh.
had any employees.
I thought Benj
No,
and Dad. No,
no,
don't count. Okay.
they definitely don't. Nope. They came and helped me on like one job in the beginning.
Yeah, I think the business is a big accomplishment. Is that all there is? Because I feel like that was more major. Like you would have more to say about this. More
About
exciting.
the business? Oh, I'm really excited. I just don't know. I mean, I started it. I guess I didn't know how detailed we wanted to get, but I can go into detail. So I started it initially to take care of. I was going to do TV mounting strictly.
I remember that because
And-
you're saying a lot about that.
Yeah.
So what made you
and,
want to do TV mounting? Did you see a lot of people in need of it? Like, what
So I
caused
had a
that?
friend who did that in San Antonio. Who did
Oh.
TV mounting in San Antonio, and he said he got a fair amount of business doing that. So I thought, TV mounting is really easy. I can do that in my sleep.
Mhm.
So I set up the business to do TV mounting, and then I found out there was a big need for screen repair,
Which you know how to do.
which I know how to do, yes. And so I did so I moved into screen repair, not TV screen repair, but window screen repair. And I did that, and I picked up some odd jobs, mounting doors and building cabinets and doing different things. And at this point, I've scaled to the point where I've been rebuilding entire walls and like rebuilding kitchen cabinets and different stuff. And so this year, what I'm looking forward to is hopefully, I'm gonna start being a little faster with my projects, picking up more and more of them, buying some equipment that's gonna help make things a little easier, and then perhaps by the end of the year, actually hiring some other people so I can take on larger stuff. And then I think after this year, I'll see exactly what direction I want to scale in. But
Nice.
right now, that's the kind of the main goal, is to get to be a little more established in some ways like that.
So it's kind of been a launching year.
Yeah, absolutely. So
That's a pretty good accomplishment.
I'm honestly really excited and very, very, very happy with how it's gone so far. So that's probably my main accomplishment for the year, is starting a business that so far indicates that it'll be successful. Definitely did a few other things. I had a relationship for a while.
Oh, that was
That
exciting.
one was exciting. It
well
ended.
lasted.
It ended, yes, for sure. It ended. It was exciting, and it was a great time.
I will say that was a learning moment, though. I think.
Oh, 100%. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably my longest relationship.
Yeah.
And so I definitely learned a lot from that. So while that's not necessarily an accomplishment, I feel like that was a pretty big,
Notable.
part
Pretty
of my
significant.
Yeah, because it started. I think I actually got into that relationship at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Ended like.
Was it like a New Year's party or something?
Actually, I think you're right. I think it was a New Year's party that I ran into her, and we had gone out before, so we hit it off pretty quickly. But so yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it is kind of crazy. So definitely a big year for that for me. Obviously, it didn't go like where it was supposed to go in the beginning, but it was definitely very good. Made some gains in the gym. I definitely feel like,
Yeah, you did.
maybe not today, but at this point, at some point during the year, I was in the best shape probably I've ever been in.
I think you're looking pretty good now.
Well,
Yeah, I think you look good.
I feel okay today, but I've definitely been eating junk food for like the past month, or pretty much through the holidays, since Thanksgiving, and so I don't feel as athletic as I did before Thanksgiving.
Also, you quit Coke this year.
I
Not
did.
the drug, but,
Yeah.
but the
Well,
soda.
I did that
the
too,
soda
but I
Coke.
don't talk about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I used to drink a lot of Coke. I quit drinking caffeine just because I noticed it was having kind of an adverse effect on my life and my health. And
That is a major
feels good.
accomplishment in my book.
Yeah,
That's pretty good. That's really good.
yeah. So I mean, for me, health wise, very good year. I definitely eat healthier than I did. I've dropped probably 20 pounds, 15 pounds,
Woo!
and
That's not bad.
also increased my ability to lift too. I hit a new bench
Woo!
max this year too.
Did you?
Yeah, 275 I think.
Nice.
Yeah, I did that one like mid-year, and then I started cutting heavily, so it didn't go up after that. But and my squat max is almost certainly gone up, but I don't max squats because of the injury risk. So I measure it
fair.
by reps, but I do for rep weight like 245. So
Nice.
I'd say like pretty solid year for me physically as well.
Also, on the physical note, I think your knees have healed up quite a bit.
Oh,
Like
a
substantially.
ton, very much so. At the beginning of this time last year, it would have been much harder for me to do the things that I do now.
During the entire time we were roommates, he was constantly like, "Oh my knees, oh my knees."
Yeah.
Maybe he
And
still
then-
does that. You're just not his
No,
roommate
yeah.
anymore.
He does it a little bit like, "Oh, like."
Usually, if I play
did more than
basketball
normal,
like
yeah.
3 days in a row, then I'll have issues. But usually, if I don't do that, I'm fine.
Yeah, for the past while, like months, I've heard hardly anything about the knees.
Yeah, and he was sick of hearing about that.
But I still listen.
Good man, Williams.
So we talked about Williams'
And
mustache.
I heard that you started a podcast.
I did actually.
Woo!
It's the world's biggest, according to magazine.
Magazine is a very popular read.
Yeah. Look it up. What were you saying,
I was
Shay?
saying, so we talked about Williams' mustache. You've got kind of
You're
a shadow
gonna make
going
fun of
on.
my scrub?
No, I want to know, is this something you're going to keep going with?
Absolutely not. My
Oh,
hair
come
is too
on.
blonde and wispy.
I think it looks
You
good.
got a good start. Just
See,
let it go.
I can pull off the shadow, but I don't think I can pull off the beard. It takes too long
You
to
gotta
get
have
from shadow
confidence,
to beard or
Starks.
shadow to mustache.
But you've never tried, so you should.
I never have.
Just take the time.
I one time thought
Yeah,
about it,
listen
and that day
to
I
the
ran
man
into
that
somebody,
grows-
and they were like, "You need to shave."
Although, yeah, maybe not optimal for dating right now.
Yeah.
No,
I'll wait-
okay, maybe wait until
I'll wait
until
until I catch one of them.
Till the kids start
Yeah.
coming, then
Yeah. And then I'm like, you're committed now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Too
try
late.
some new looks. See how I look with the goatee.
I mean, your
Or-
dad has very nice facial hair.
My
Although his
dad-
hair's darker.
My dad, yes, absolutely.
Nate's
So
might get darker over time. I don't know.
It does ish.
Like looking at your hair, it's blonde, but
It's kind of a
darker.
dirty blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, nope, no mustache for me. Not
Yet.
anytime soon.
Yet.
I gotta wait till
Maybe late this year.
there's some significant commitment.
Maybe
Yeah.
later this
Yeah.
year. The kids are coming later this year.
Whoa, that's pretty quick, Williams.
Yeah.
You're betting on me pretty heavily.
Starks, I always have the
If
highest.
you get married in a
opinion of
month,
I-
have kids.
You know,
you. Starks is a catch. He's one
He is.
of the greatest guys I know.
You don't know many.
You deserve happiness, Starks.
Well, thanks, Williams. Right back at you.
No, I don't.
Well, you got a fair point. Anyway, I'm trying to think. I think that might be my year.
Was there
Pretty
like
good year.
Was there what?
Was there a favorite moment or a big moment?
What's the happiest moment?
The happiest moment? I think I just gotta love spending time with friends and family. Honestly, so after my relationship ended, I took a month and a half, and I actually didn't work on my business very much, which was not good for me financially, but it was good for me personally. And I actually just kind of rekindled with a lot of my friends and a lot of my family. And it was a hard time, but also I realized why I love my friends and family so much and why I enjoy spending time with them so much.
Nice.
So I think that would probably be not necessarily the highlight of the year in terms of like peak emotional feeling, but I think that for me, kind of realizing how important the people around me in my life are is pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a time of substantial growth,
Yep.
Like it.
where the new Nate Starks was flourishing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see 2024 Nate Starks.
Oh,
You,
that's gonna be
bet
the
your
best
bottom
the
version.
silliest
dollar.
goose you've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be the silliest of all the gooses.
But you already are.
Oh, well,
You're gonna
I'll,
be even
I'll
sillier
be even more sillier
and
than
more
I
gooser
was.
than you have been.
Yeah, and more gooser, that as well. Shay,
Nice
what about you?
grammar.
Are you going to be more gooser or dogger or? No
I'm
one
just
knows.
gonna be sillier.
Okay, I
All
respect
right,
that.
all right,
I respect that.
Thank you.
So, Shalana, you're our guest today. What is some of your biggest? We're done with me, right? There's nothing else.
Unless you tell us.
I
Like,
also
what else? Yeah,
made $1 million. Just kidding, I didn't. That was a
I
prank.
wish.
That was a prank. That was a
Then
prank.
he
I did
could
not
be a
make
real
that much.
sponsor
But
of the
if
show.
you do get wealthy, know that I've been encouraging you along the way.
Well, I'll keep you in mind, Williams, but I don't hold your breath, you know?
I'm holding it.
And make sure you eat
Quick,
between
start.
episodes. And,
$1 million.
no, but I think that was me. I was just making sure I didn't like steal the show. So, Shay, biggest lesson this year. What did you learn that you feel like is going to impact the most? Or
Ooh.
if you don't have a good answer for that, what are you looking forward to this next year?
Oh.
Answer one or both.
That's a good question.
Just know that if you don't mention a big lesson, we'll know that you don't learn from your life and that you are inevitable. It's
She's
inevitable
over
that you're
here
going to make the same
coasting.
mistakes. Yeah.
That's what I do best. I
Just
coast.
riding the road of life.
Wait, so the questions one more time. So what was the best lesson I learned this year?
Yeah, what would you say is the most impactful or best lesson you learned from this last year?
I don't know. That's a good question. What's the other one? Let me think about this one.
What are you looking forward to in 2024?
What am I looking forward to? Honestly, I'm just looking forward. Well, me and Adrian are probably gonna move to Provo, and
Woot, woot. So that's
yeah.
your woot woot.
I'm also starting some online classes. I'm honestly kind of excited to go back to school. I don't know. I think it's fun. I think that could actually kind of connect. So going back to school, I've been really into listening to podcasts and learning more about educating yourself and just being,
Education.
yeah, just education all around. So,
So you
just
listen
trying,
to our podcast all the time.
yeah,
You better
learn so many things. But yeah, I think just trying to improve myself, and I guess one of the best lessons I had to learn was just doing it, not always setting goals, but you actually have to do the goals. I don't
Yeah.
know. Should be something pretty obvious, but for some reason it's not super obvious.
That's
Like
a
the
hard lesson.
application.
Yeah.
To be honest.
My mission president used to always say "therefore what" when you would
Mhm.
talk about something, because a lot of times I feel like we have a tendency, especially in group settings, to go and talk about a problem,
Yeah.
and we would finish talking about the problem, and we'd be like, "Well, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Let's go home."
Yeah.
And so I think the important thing is therefore what. So what are you going to change? What are you going to do differently? So
Yeah, exactly.
So to summarize what you're saying kind of not only learning but applying that to your
Yeah,
life.
exactly. There was like 3 Sundays in a row where the speakers would say if you're not moving forward, you're moving back.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like that was directed. Well, that was something I needed to hear because I really do feel like if I'm not trying to grow and prove myself, I'm gonna be.
So
just
you
coasting.
haven't been coasting, is what you're saying.
Well, maybe I have been
She
coasting,
was
but
coasting,
I need to
but she learned
shift into
after
gear.
those Sundays.
Yeah,
You've pedaled a couple of times.
yeah. Pedaled a couple times to keep the
Yeah.
pace, but that's pretty much it.
I like
Just
it.
kidding.
I like
Pump
it.
the gas a little.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, that was probably one of the most things I wanted to apply to this year and also learn. So
I love it. Williams?
My most impactful lesson from this year.
Yep.
Kind of been. I think there have been lessons learned this year. I think one of those lessons, one of the big ones, was, I mean, perhaps I still haven't learned it because I still do it a little bit. Procrastination is wrong. Under certain circumstances, at least. And I noticed that I think it's just more of the importance of taking the initiative more than anything else.
That's
Because kind of like along the lines of what Shay was saying, like you can know what to do, but if you don't do it, I've also just been really understanding and internalizing. I think I've started to act on, if you prepare and are planning ahead, you can go so much farther. And things are just, the situation, although not optimal, if you have some level of preparedness, even though if it doesn't cover the situation perfectly, you're going to be so much farther ahead than you would have been otherwise, and probably other people in a similar situation. And so you're going to have a leg up no matter what. And so I've been going through things. I think this year I have significant plans to double down on that lesson and utilize it to the fullest of its capacity. I'm going to be dangerous this year, but dangerous in a good way.
Dangerous
like
with
it.
the stash or
So
without
you're
a
gonna-
stash?
Ooh,
Jay,
I don't know.
He's
Who
undecided.
knows what this year's
He's
oh,
broadened his
oh.
horizons. I don't think the stash is coming back soon until some girl's got a
Goatee?
ring on her finger.
Oh,
Or he meets someone who's like, oh, I love mustaches.
I'm like,
Oh.
you should have
And
seen.
then
Look
he
at this picture of me with the stash.
He's like,
What did you
I
think
can-
of this?
I can bring this back. I can do it for you. And then Nate will play catch with me again.
It's possible.
So that's an excellent lesson, Williams. No procrastination.
love it.
And
Nate?
taking the initiative.
So for me, I honestly learned a lot of things this year.
As we all do.
I feel like for me, probably the biggest lesson is first off taking my life as it is and not how I want it to be. Because I feel like there's a lot of things that like I feel I wish I had done a little differently or had happened a little differently. Like and I think sometimes if you focus too much on those things, it makes it so you're not doing things as much. And then secondly, it's like you don't necessarily wait around for things to be perfect in your life. Not to
You'll
keep
never
going back.
come.
Yeah, exactly. When we talked about hating dating last week, but I feel like for me is I always kind of wanted to find somebody that I would kind of like build my life with. Like that's when I would buy a house. That's when I would really get established in my career and all those things. And I think the biggest thing I realized this year is that it's my job just to make the best out of my situation that I'm in. And so if that means I need a house, don't wait for somebody else to come along for me to buy a house. Just buy the house. If I need a career, establish a career and do that. And so for me, that's been a big focus this year has been trying to become more established just in who I am, regardless as to what like the circumstances are around me.
Like it.
I think you've been doing pretty good at that. To start.
Strong,
Well-
independent man. Let's
Well,
go.
thank yeah, who don't need no woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Although he would like one.
Yeah. If you're
Doesn't
out there,
mean that he doesn't
just
want
clarify.
one.
Yeah,
Just means he
okay.
doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just hint. But yeah, I think a solid year for me. With that, guys, do we have anything to add? Do we want to add anything for our audience about the year? Shay, is there anything you really want to say on a podcast?
Should we talk about resolutions or?
We can
We
talk.
kind of
well,
have covered
well,
them a little.
well,
right?
here's the thing. I want to be personal. I want
Mhm.
people to know us for who we are. but also I want people to draw from this and to be able to learn. So I don't want to get too personal. Shay, you have something to say? Please
This
say.
one
it.
doesn't really apply to that. What was the best movie you watched that came out this year?
Oh, goodness.
Ooh.
Ooh, that came out this year.
That came
Me
out
and
Wait a
Ad-
minute.
this year?
Adrian and I already did this. We made a list.
Well, you made a list?
of everything we went in the movie theaters and watched, and what was the best one?
I didn't see too many movies this year, but there was.
I already know. Puss in
Yeah.
Boots.
That one? Oh, I
Oh, I
forgot
didn't see
about
that
that.
in theaters.
Wait, did that come
Although
out
they
this year?
Pretty sure it did.
I thought that was last year. I think that was last year.
Well, still Puss in Boots.
When did Puss in Boots come out?
John Wick 4 did come out this year.
That
and
was my
that-
choice. That's what
Oh,
I
really?
picked. Yeah.
Well, what are the
You guys
other
want to
ones?
know what
Oh,
Adrian
Great Minds?
picked?
What do you pick?
Adrian picked Across the Spider-Verse.
But
I said
I honestly
I think
didn't
it
really
gets
like
knocked
Across the
points
Spider-Verse
because
that
it
much.
just left us hanging. You
Yeah.
know? I'm
Well,
like,
I didn't
John
even
Wick
know
didn't do that to us.
left me.
Okay, Spider-Verse.
No pun intended.
Spider-Verse, I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be based on how good the next movie is.
Yeah, I agree.
If-
I think
if-
that one's just kind of
If
a
the next
stepping
movie
stool.
is stellar, then I'll be like, the first movie
Right.
was great.
But we can't say
Yeah.
this
Okay,
year.
what
that-
other movies came out?
Okay, so
Puss
this
in
is what
Boots
we
came
have.
out?
We have Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This is just what Adrian and I watched in theaters.
Okay.
We have Barbie, Oppenheimer, The Nun 2, Five Nights at Freddy's, A Haunting of Venice. How do
I
you say
assume
that?
Venice. I think you say
Venice?
Venice.
Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Insidious, A Knock in the Cabin at the Woods, and Elemental and John Wick 4 and Across the Spider-Verse.
You went to theaters to see
Okay.
Elemental?
No, we also did things
Oh.
that came out and we watched
Puss
at
in
home.
Boots was released December 21st, 2022.
So,
So
you
it
gotta-
doesn't
you
count.
gotta
I
pick a
don't.
different
I
one.
don't think that I watched it though until the next year.
Okay, fine.
I'm definitely counting that. Okay, here's the thing. If you want me to pick another one, I don't know if I can. Like, I can't think of any other movies that came
Have you
out.
not
seen
seen
John Wick 4?
It was
That one was
okay.
so good.
What
No,
do you
you
mean
fell
it was
asleep.
Okay.
Oh no!
That
What
was
in the
last
world?
week that we watched
You
it
fell
on
asleep?
Christmas.
Here's the thing.
Christmas Eve.
John
we
Wick
watched
is
it.
a fun show. I don't. I would never say it's not good. But
It's
I
the
will
ending to a
say.
saga.
But I will say.
It really is.
Well, okay, I never did see the ending. So to be fair, I haven't
You
seen
didn't
the
see
ending.
what?
But
in
here's
the
the thing.
world?
I
He was
looked
in
it
the
up.
middle of fighting a bunch of people.
I looked it up to see if they might make another one because they kind of left it. I
Whoa,
feel
whoa,
like
whoa,
they
don't give me any
could.
spoilers,
Yeah,
guys.
you
I'm
don't-
not going to, but I
I
feel
have
like
like an hour left in the movie. They just barely made
Well,
like
restart
a
watching
deal
the
where they're
movie.
like, you can go fight
I
this
just
guy,
think
and he's like,
that
okay.
they left
Like-
it in a good way that that could be the ending
Oh,
to
he
the
was
saga, but
fighting
also
the,
could be
German guy?
another one.
I don't know who's
With the
fighting
gold
yet.
teeth.
I don't know who's fighting yet.
Yeah, he was
well,
fighting
already
that
fought
guy,
He
and he
already beat
died.
that guy.
Oh, so,
So,
it's a,
so
oh,
he
yeah.
Now-
they just met.
You were at the
Oh,
roundabout, weren't you in
oh.
Paris? Like, were you at that part?
Yeah, they were in Paris, and they were like, we're gonna go fight, and then
Oh,
that's where I paused it
deciding the
because it
terms.
was like 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Anyway.
You just now were watching it?
Yeah.
Oh
I know.
my
It came out in like
goodness.
March.
yeah, so
You've been
and
deprived.
the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
boy.
Haven't seen it. I read
That
the
one's
book.
so good.
Here's the thing, though. I read the book, and the book, the first half of it was so good. It was prime. I loved the first half of that book. The second half of the book ruined the rest of the book for me.
Yeah. That's what
I felt
Adrian was
like-
saying. He felt like it was kind of boring at the end.
Well, I
Was
felt
the movie
like
kind of the
I
same
felt
way?
like she built
kind of.
the world really, really well, and like it was already built, so it was like more like she built kind of this character in Snow, and then I felt like she knew she needed to kind of corrupt him a little bit more, and so she really pushed the bill past what was already in the character too far.
Here's what I think. I think it's cool because I think you can see the transition from him slowly making the wrong choices and making him into a worse person.
Did you read the book?
I did.
Here's my thing. Making those decisions, I could see it, but I think she did it in too short of a time span.
Yeah.
She pretty much went from him like he wasn't necessarily ever a good character, or likable character, but he was like,
He was like an okay person at
He was,
first.
like,
Like you could see his
okay-ish,
potential.
and you saw he had potential to be a good person or a bad person. And about halfway through the book, he did some redeeming things. But then at the end, he just kind of became awful, like just kind of seemingly out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
I
you
can see
knew
what
that
you're
was
saying.
coming. But for me, I feel like she should have made smaller steps towards him being a bad person, and then written another book about him turning from
Yeah,
like
maybe
a
she should've made
semi-bad
that a
person
two-part.
to like President Snow, like this despicable character. Well, I don't even know if I just describe him as despicable. He was always kind of supposed to be this character who's a little bit intriguing.
Cynical.
Yeah, he's interesting because he doesn't sound like when he talks to Katniss, he doesn't seem completely evil, but he also is like because he does terrible,
I think
terrible things.
that's why Benj is always saying that President Snow is the best evil villain.
Yeah,
because
so
literally
he's
just
supposed to have
gives
some
you
nuance
intrigue.
to his character.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you seen those? Have you seen or read them?
No, and ask me if I care.
They're
see,
good, you should
Listen,
watch them.
I read Lord
Josh
of the Flies,
Hutcherson?
and
Josh
so
Hutcherson?
I basically know about kids killing kids.
You read Lord of the... I hated Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies is a horrible book.
Poor
Okay,
Piggy.
but you should just try out Hunger Games.
Oh yeah, because that's gonna be better.
It's
It
not
actually
the same.
is.
Lord of the Flies is terrible. Anyway,
So
Let's,
you're
uh,
saying Hunger Games is terrible?
Still kids
You said
killing
it's about
kids,
the
which
same.
I'm not
No, he said
super
it's not the
interested
same.
in.
Oh,
I liked Hunger Games.
I thought it was pretty good.
I liked The Battle of Songbirds and Snakes. Honestly, the book itself was okay.
You should watch the movie.
But it was
pretty good.
okay because I loved the first half and I didn't like
Yeah.
the second half. So it kind of evens out into like tolerable. Okay. So end of the year, I think I'm still gonna stick with Puss in Boots. I'm just gonna break the rules. It's 50% my podcast. I'm just gonna do that.
I'm not sure if the other 50% agrees, but we'll let it go
Well,
this time.
you know what? The other 50% is just gonna have to get over it.
He's disqualified.
No. You
When
have
I
any
press this
percent,
button,
Shay?
his
I don't think
chair
so.
falls down. It's like one of those classic evil villains.
And I
That's a
just
way to
disappear.
treat your guests.
You go down to this chamber where we
Hey
got a whole bunch
guys,
of sharks.
it's me,
in a tank.
Sparks.
Yeah.
Starks is gone.
Yeah, we
I
get a
mean,
replacement.
Yeah. It's me, Sharks, your new host with Williams.
Yep. Sharks and Williams. Williams and Sharks.
I'm the goofy chicken.
Podcast just got weird.
Yes, well,
that
absolutely.
just got weird.
For those of you who didn't get the bit, what I was doing was making a joke about being replaced by a different person. You're welcome.
Named Sharks.
Named Sharks. Okay, so do we have anything else to add, Williams?
I don't know if we do.
All right, we have two things left then. Shaylena,
Yes.
are you a dirty dog or a silly goose?
I want to say I'm a silly goose. I want to be a silly
Okay.
goose. I don't know if that's what I
Do you
am,
have,
but
do
I
you
want
have
to
a
be a silly
reason
goose.
behind, why you might be a silly goose?
Every time I take a picture, I go stick my tongue out and do a peace sign. That's
She
silly
does.
goose vibes.
She does. You do strike me as more of a silly goose, but it's your judgment, not mine.
Right. I will say that the contingent of silly gooses is growing, but it's not like I'm completely like on the podcast. We haven't run into another dirty dog.
Yeah.
However, my brother, one of my brothers, and my father both said that they're part of my camp.
Well,
they're part of the
that's
dirty
respectable.
dogs.
We'll have them on at some point. All I'm saying is I'm amassing an army for our inevitable civil war.
But the
It'll be
strong shall
the
win.
silly
I feel like the
gooses
dirty dogs are probably
Versus the dirty
strong.
dog.
The
And
silly
we're going to
gooses will
recruit the
be.
chonky monkeys as well.
Maybe I have to deal with the chunky monkeys you don't know.
That's what you think. I already have a deal you don't know about.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Who represents the
So-
chonky monkeys?
So Shay,
Craig.
you're why you're a
Craig
silly
said
goose.
he's a chunky monkey. If
Oh.
you listen to our
Shay-
podcast more, you'd know.
Your why
Maybe I
for
do,
being
I
a
just-
silly goose is that you make weird faces when you take selfies.
That was
Very interesting.
That was the best thing I could come up with.
Well,
I'm
I will
sorry.
say, okay, to quote Michaela, because she said this very well, she says she has an affinity for silly
Goosery.
goosery. Yes. And being your brother, I know that you also have an affinity for silly goosery
Mhm.
and less of an affinity for dirty dogness.
Yeah.
So
Whatever
that
that
seems
means.
much more
Whatever
fitting
that
to
means.
me. So I support it. Also, Shay, do you remember earlier when I asked if you knew our motto?
Yeah.
That's because you get to close out the show by saying our motto, and then we end.
Okay, let me see. Listen or don't listen. We don't care.
Good enough.
Is that